Hi, this is Mike Fry, and you are listening to the We Effing Told You So podcast. Today is March 20th, 2026. Today's installment, Definitive Proof. War in Iran is both objectively immoral and insane. Even out of context, the U.S. attack on Iran is a crazy level of evil. Within the context of our history with Iran, it's even worse. You don't have to be a political historian to understand how amoral and insane the U.S. attack on Iran is. All you have to really do is try to keep up with the incoherent and constantly changing excuses for it. First, the idiot-in-chief said it was to stop Iran from getting a nuclear weapon, though we should also point out that he usually incorrectly pronounces nuclear as nuclear, and we should also point out that he had previously already claimed to have obliterated Iran's nuclear program. Then he said it was because Iran posed an imminent threat to the USA, even though his own head of national intelligence wrote in testimony before the U.S. Senate that Iran posed no imminent threat to the USA. Then Trump and his sycophants said, in typical fourth grader speak, that we started bombing Iran to, quote, get rid of a bad man, end quote. Then they all said it was not about regime change. Marco Rubio, wearing his oversized Trump shoes, claimed we started a war with Iran because Israel asked us to. Then Trump said, no, it was his own idea. We could go on and on about how virtually nothing our current regime has said about this unnecessary war of choice has been consistent, rational, or coherent. 2 weeks into it, they have yet to forward anything that amounts to an explanation that would satisfy a thinking adult. The things they have said are contradictory, nonsensical, irrational, constantly changing, and downright crazy-making. As bad as that is, it gets worse when you look at the morality of the war, that so far has already killed more than 4,000 Iranians due to carpet bombing the capital city of Tehran, which has a population of about 10 million people. Those deaths also include more than 100 little girls who died along with others when the USA target bombed an elementary school full of children. Said another way, the USA, absent any of its traditional allies, save for Israel, is currently engaging in committing daily war crimes, murdering thousands of people for no explanation at all for a war that has already cost us more than $32 billion. So even if you don't look past our current reality, that is all totally batshit crazy. It's even worse if you look at it in the context of our history with Iran, which informed readers and listeners will remember was once a fledgling democracy. That is, until the USA and our friends the Brits got involved. The problem we had with Iran being a self-determining democracy was that they wanted to manage and control their own oil production. When Mohammad Mossadegh was elected to office in 1951, he decided he wanted to nationalize the oil industry, which had previously been controlled by Britain. Letting a democratic, oil-rich country manage and control their own oil production was not something that we could tolerate. So the USA helped overthrow Mossadegh in 1953 and reinstall the lavish and brutal monarchy of the Shah. We've been fucking with Iran ever since, and the result has been an increasingly radicalized population that despises the USA, culminating in a brutal theocratic takeover of that society in 1979. We are not the victims of any radicalization in Iran. We are the cause of it. Those who think that fucking with Iran even more and harder is going to make them hate us less and be less radical is abso-fucking-lutely out of their goddamn fucking minds. But of course, throwing gas onto that particular fire is exactly the kind of thing one would expect from the Jeffrey Epstein-connected Antichrist whose calling card is chaos, division, and destruction. And while none of us associated with this blog or podcast is at all religious or believe in an actual Antichrist, we can't help but notice those are the things and the persona Trump constantly brings to the table. And his current Secretary of Defense or War is more than happy to amp up the rhetoric. Meanwhile, at this point, most in the U.S. press and many U.S. citizens seem more concerned about the rising cost of gas caused by this insane and illegal war than they are about the war crimes, murders, commitment of military personnel in harm's way, and the global instability that it brings. If you have yet to figure any of that out, or connect any of those historical dots when it finally does dawn on you, just remember, we effing told you so. You have been listening to the We Effing Told You So podcast. You can find us on Substack, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and most other places podcasts can be found. Please like and subscribe and share on your social media. And thanks for listening.